Today's flight simulators are impressively realistic, so much so that an actual pilot can practice a flight that he's planning to make in the real world using accurate representations of departure and destination airports in a simulator, navigating with navigation aids in their real-world positions, and flying in real-time weather conditions. But the world of flight sims isn't just reserved for real pilots. There are so many flight simulator titles around now for every type of flying that you can possibly imagine, from space sims and combat dogfighting right through to commercial flights. And if you want to get in on the action, then putting together a home flight simulator is lots of fun, but it can also be overwhelming with lots of things to consider. The great news though is that flight sim setups are largely scalable. So you can start small and add bits as you go. They don't have to cost the earth, but of course, if you have the cash to splash, you can end up with something epic like these two setups that we'll look at shortly. These examples consist of a high-end feature yoke or joystick, instrument panels and gauges, pedals and software. And they live in our Bolton showroom, so you can come along and have a look and even jump in for a flight and try out the peripherals that we've put together for yourself. Our showroom team here are really helpful too, and you can find out all of the products and make an order really easily by scanning this handy QR code. Now, depending on what types of flight programs you use and how far you want to take the experience, you have loads of options available to you that don't have to break the bank, which we're going to walk you through in this video. So let's start by looking at the different kinds of flight sim programs and some products to get started, right through to an all singing and all dancing setup. We're going to take a look at combat and space sims, and then we'll move on to a full commercial setup. Let's start with products that you can get if you play combat or space sims. Now, flight games in this category include DCS, War Thunder, IL-2, Ace Combat and Arma 3, whilst the space sims are Elite Dangerous, No Man's Sky, X4 Foundation and even EVE Online. Now, the reason that we've grouped these two genres together is because they generally use the same control method. That starts with a flight stick, but in most cases it's a HOTA system that has a flight stick and a throttle. Now, don't get me wrong, you could play any of these games and sims with just your keyboard and mouse or a control pad, but adding in a control method that mimics the same as in the game adds a whole new level of immersion, much like playing a racing game with a steering wheel. Now, generally, a flight stick on its own is all you need to get going. Most flight sticks feature multiple programmable buttons and some form of throttle control. So between this and your keyboard, you've got everything that you need. It's worth noting that there are some high-end options of flight sticks available that are significantly more expensive, usually as they're actual replicas of real planes. These might not offer a one-piece solution though, as they're usually designed to only work with other peripherals in a full setup. The Thrustmaster Warthog is a good example of this. You can buy the stick on its own for around £250, but it doesn't feature any twist action to use as a rudder, and it's got no built-in throttle. Basically, you need the accompanying throttle units and rudders. It's also significantly stiffer to use than mainstream sticks to mimic the actual A10C plane. This means that it's not so great for more casual use or flight space sims, which generally require lots of fast movement. Now, the point that I'm making here is that buying more expensive isn't always the best way to go, depending on what you're doing. Our recommendations for just a flight stick to get started are the Speedlink Phantom Gaming Hawk for around £30 and the Thrustmaster T16000M at around £60. Both of these models have built-in throttle control and also a twist rudder, so you get everything you need to get started in any flight or space sim. If you're looking to build on the stick with a throttle unit, you can purchase these separately to add to your existing stick. Adding a throttle unit will give you more buttons that you can program, meaning that you'd need to reach over to your keyboard less often, keeping you fully immersed in the game, giving you much more control. Our recommendations are the Raptor throttle with an RRP of £50 and the Thrustmaster TWCS throttle for around £90. Both of these have their own USB cable, so they will work with any flight stick. And if you'd like to buy a matching HOTA system with flight stick and throttle, then you can buy these as kits as well. Now, the main advantage of buying a kit is that you'll only need one app to set them up and program them. Our recommended kits are the Raptor Mach 1 HOTAS combo for an RRP of £129 or the Thrustmaster 16000M HOTAS pack. This is the exact same as the individual products that we've already mentioned, but there is a saving. If you buy them as a kit, you'll get them for around £139. Obviously, it's worth keeping an eye out for any deals as discounts are often available. And then the last piece you may want to consider is a rudder. These aren't as essential as all of the kit that I've already recommended so far, but again, when it comes to immersion, especially in a flight simulator, a rudder adds to the authenticity as pilots use them to control real planes. Our recommended model is the Thrustmaster T-Flight pedals at around £89. So what if you want to try commercial flight rather than combat, something like Microsoft Flight Simulator or X-Plane? Well, the great news is that all of the stick and HOTAS options that I've already mentioned previously will work perfectly well with commercial flight simulators as well. Now, if you're looking to do a bit of both, then they are the best starting option. Some smaller commercial planes and some of the newer large jetliners actually use a stick as well. Most, however, use a flight yoke. This is like a steering wheel for planes in that you twist it to turn. And it's then got the ability to be pushed and pulled to raise or lower the nose of the aircraft. Most mainstream commercial aircraft use a yoke, so if you are only looking to play commercial flight sims, then you will get the best experience with a yoke, and you can also use these to fly. Generally, yokes are more expensive than flight sticks, and in many cases, they require other devices like throttles and rudders to be able to use them. So it's important to check what each model comes with or requires to be used. For yokes that include everything needed in a single device, our recommendation options are the CH Eclipse yoke with built-in throttle and rudders at around £225, or the Turtle Beach Velocity One flight control system. Again, this has got everything you need built in. It also works with Xbox, which most models don't, and the RRP for that one is £350. And if you're looking to build a more comprehensive commercial flight sim experience or don't mind dropping several £100s in one go, then our favourite flight yokes are the Honeycomb Alpha and Bravo yoke and throttle, and the Thrustmaster TPR Pendula Pro level rudders. Everything I've shown today offers a great start into the world of simulated flight, be it combat or commercial. If you're looking to get started or just unsure which models to buy, then you can't go wrong with all of our recommended models. They'll all add a new level of immersion over a keyboard or control pad and help you feel like you're flying the real thing in your favourite sim. If you're getting serious, then we also offer a range of simulator cockpits, so you can build a permanent solution and maybe even add a multi-monitor or VR setup too. Go and start your journey on the Scan website today, www.scan.co.uk.